Hello, friends. Now that we are in the heart of this wonderful story of Afghanistan, the Taliban Air Force has proudly announced that more than 70 helicopters and airplanes, which were damaged during the past complex events, have been carefully repaired and ready to fly. These words are for you, along with the return of 40 professional Afghan pilots and technicians who used to work in the Air Force of the previous Afghan government. On the other hand, the Afghan government is also working on repairing a large number of Russian and American military tanks. So, can this motivation and joint effort lead to a new and positive beginning for security and progress in Afghanistan? Join us to unlock this new fascinating journey and start this wonderful story together. The commander of the Air Force of the Taliban Ministry of Defense has said that so far, more than 70 helicopters and planes that were destroyed when the American soldiers left have been repaired and ready to fly. It has also been said that at the request of the Taliban government, about 40 pilots and technical technicians who worked in the Air Force during Ashraf Ghani's government returned to Kabul and started the process of repairing the destroyed air fleet of this country. And it is also said that the Afghan government will restore hundreds of Russian and American military tanks that were already out of order. Recently, the 207th Al-Farouk Brigade Military Vehicle Collection Commission announced the collection of military vehicles in Herat, Farah, and Badghis provinces. According to the report of the Taliban Ministry of Defense, this commission was formed in the western regions of the country, and since the beginning of its activity, it has collected dozens of military equipment from the remote areas of these provinces from irresponsible people. The collected vehicles include Humvee, Strike, Internal, Crane, Ranger, and motorcycle tanks, which will be handed over to the Army after restoration. Before this, CNN network published news citing the report of the U.S. Ministry of Defense to the Congress of this country, in which it is emphasized that nearly $7 billion of U.S. military equipment remained in this country after the withdrawal from Afghanistan. The Taliban say they repaired a large number of destroyed military equipment to use it. In the published pictures, you can see the U.S. military tanks that were left behind after leaving Afghanistan. These military devices were repaired by the engineering team of the 215 Azam Army Corps. The Taliban's Ministry of Defense says that America destroyed a large number of its military equipment during the withdrawal. The American House of Representatives said in a report that after the withdrawal of the country's military from Afghanistan, military equipment worth about $7 billion was left behind. America is worried about the equipment left in Afghanistan, mainly for three reasons. 1. The Taliban used these military equipment in violent actions. 2. The remaining equipment falls into the hands of terrorist groups. 3. Russia and China, which have close relations with the Taliban, obtain these advanced weapons. Earlier, several international organizations said that the Taliban might ask for help from Russia and China to repair the destroyed equipment. The Afghan government has ordered the Ministry of National Defense to repair weapons and 800 armored tanks. At the same time, the National Security Council has directed the Ministry of Finance to provide $60 million to the Ministry of National Defense for the repair of this military equipment. Based on the order of the National Security Council, 800 tanks and a large number of heavy weapons and cannons should be repaired. Action should be taken, and the cost of this repair should be provided to the Ministry of National Defense. In 2022, 2 wings of military transport aircraft, N-32, and 1 transport aircraft, N-26, have been repaired and ready for flight. With the great efforts of the Air Force departments of the Ministry of Defense of Afghanistan, more than 70 fixed-wing and movable-wing aircraft wings have been repaired and are ready for service. The process of repairing and activating the destroyed and inactive planes is going on by the engineers of the Afghan Air Force. A large number of military planes of the Afghan Air Force were transferred to neighboring countries after the collapse of the previous government, and some of these planes and other remaining weapons were destroyed before the withdrawal of foreign forces from Afghanistan. Now, it is not clear how many helicopters and military transport planes of the former Afghan Air Forces are in the possession of the Afghan government, but it is said that among the 208 planes and helicopters of the former Afghan Air Force, around 62 planes and helicopters were transferred to Tajikistan and Uzbekistan at the same time as the republic fell in August 2021. And some of them were destroyed during the battles, and more than 100 planes and helicopters were left in Afghanistan, of which only 20 planes and helicopters were partially active, and all the rest needed to be repaired. Unofficial estimates show that at the same time as Kabul fell to the Taliban, about 500 to 600 Afghans had gone to Uzbekistan in these planes, and about 140 to 150 people had gone to Tajikistan. The pilots of these planes were transferred to the United Arab Emirates and then to the United States in September and November 2021. In short, the state of repair and preparation of military equipment in Afghanistan under the Taliban government has caused global reactions and concerns. The Taliban claims that more than 70 helicopters and planes have been repaired and ready to fly, and about 40 pilots and technicians have returned to Kabul and are active in repairing the air fleet. These actions seem to have taken place under agreements with the Taliban government. In addition to these issues, the Commission for Collecting Military Vehicles has also collected equipment from former soldiers in the western regions of the country, and these equipment will be handed over to the army after restoration. Also, concerns about the Taliban's use of American military equipment, its transfer to terrorist groups, and its acquisition by other countries continue. These issues show the challenges and complexities in the region and the world that require smart solutions and international cooperation. Thank you for watching.